Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. Seattle Seahawks versus Atlanta Falcons. Seattle may be coming off a mini-bye after playing last Thursday, but this matchup sets up perfectly for the Falcons to grab the win. The Seahawks defense has been shaky in recent weeks, and they now face an Atlanta team that ranks 8th in total yards per game, while Seattle's defense sits below average in the NFL for yards allowed. One glaring issue for the Seahawks is their struggle to stop the run, and that's where Atlanta's dynamic backfield duo, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allgeier, can shine. Expect both running backs to exploit Seattle's weaknesses and move the chains consistently. On the other side of the ball, Seahawks QB Geno Smith has been turnover-prone lately, which plays right into the hands of a Falcons defense that's capable of forcing mistakes. Look for Atlanta to capitalize on a potential interception or two, turning defense into opportunities that could ultimately decide the game. Prediction: take the Falcons on the moneyline ML. The over looks like a strong play in this matchup, given both teams' defensive struggles and ability to put points on the board. Seattle has been a consistent bet for high-scoring games, hitting the over in 5 of their 6 games this season. Meanwhile, Atlanta sits at 3-3 in that department, but has shown the ability to reach the end zone regularly. Seattle's offensive firepower was on full display against the 49ers, proving they can respond quickly with touchdowns when needed. On the flip side, Atlanta's offense, led by a potent rushing attack, should have no trouble scoring against Seattle's vulnerable defense. And considering that even a team like Carolina managed to score 20 points on Atlanta, it's reasonable to expect Seattle to break into the high 20s as well, making the over a realistic outcome. Prediction: take the over at 51 points. Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills. The Tennessee Titans, 1-4, continued their rough season with a 3rd straight loss, falling to the Indianapolis Colts. This defeat marks their 3rd loss by a touchdown or less, highlighting a team that comes close but can't quite seal the deal. A 23-yard touchdown run by Tony Pollard briefly gave the Titans hope, putting them up 17-10 midway through the 3rd quarter. However, veteran Colts quarterback Joe Flacco responded with a 10-point swing, including a field goal and a late touchdown, putting the game out of Tennessee's reach. Missed opportunities and undisciplined play plagued the Titans, who were penalized 11 times for a season-high 113 yards. These costly mistakes allowed the Colts to extend drives and stymie Tennessee's offensive momentum. With their frustrations mounting, the Titans, once seen as AFC South contenders, now face the reality of waiting until November for a chance at their first home win. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills narrowly escaped with a 23-20 win over the New York Jets, despite defensive lapses. After scoring touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 drives, the Bills seemed in control, but a Hail Mary at the end of the first half brought the Jets within 3 points. Buffalo's defense allowed 8 plays of 20 yards or more, nearly doubling the number of big plays they had given up in the first 3 weeks of the season. From weeks 4 to 6, they've now surrendered 15 explosive plays. The game's pivotal moment came when Taron Johnson, playing in his first game since a Week 1 injury, intercepted Aaron Rodgers to halt the Jets' final drive and secure the win. Offensively, Josh Allen continued his stellar mistake-free run, extending his interception-free streak to 6 games, the longest of his career. Allen's composure has been crucial, especially as the Bills' defense has shown vulnerabilities. My pick: take the Tennessee Titans plus 9 points. The Titans' offense has struggled, led by quarterback Will Levis, who has a concerning 5-7 touchdown-to-interception ratio and leads the league in turnovers, despite already having had a bye week. While Tennessee has managed to put together drives, they've consistently stalled in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns. This issue not only limits their scoring potential, but also wears out their defense by keeping them on the field longer. Defensively, however, the Titans have been rock solid, boasting the league's top-ranked defense, allowing just 248.8 yards per game. Their pass defense has been particularly stout, which could make for a tough day for the Bills' offense, especially given Buffalo's recent struggles to generate explosive plays. Total pick: Under 40.5 points. With Tennessee's suffocating defense and Buffalo's inconsistency in creating big offensive moments, expect a lower scoring affair. Even with Josh Allen's talent, the Titans' disciplined defense could limit opportunities, leading to a game that stays well below the 40.5-point total. Cincinnati Bengals versus Cleveland Browns. I'm backing the Cincinnati Bengals to cover the minus 5.5 spread in this heated in-state rivalry against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Both teams have underperformed this season and are far from satisfied with their current standings. However, the Bengals have shown more potential, with a positive point differential that suggests they've played better than their record indicates. Even if Browns star running back Nick Chubb returns, Cleveland's offensive weapons remain limited, and Deshaun Watson has struggled behind a shaky offensive line that will face a strong Bengals D-line. Joe Burrow, a proven elite quarterback, will lead Cincinnati with their season on the line. You can never count out a team led by a player of Burrow's caliber, especially with so much at stake. The Bengals defense, despite some struggles this season, showed signs of improvement in their Sunday Night Football performance last week. Meanwhile, Cleveland has been flat-out disappointing, and Watson's performance has been far from what you'd expect given his massive contract, arguably one of the worst in the league right now. While the Bengals' defense may allow Cleveland to score, expect Burrow and the Bengals' offense to control this game and win convincingly. Pick Bengals minus 5.5 points. As for the total, take the over on 41.5 points. Cincinnati has been a force on offense for most of the season, despite a brief hiccup last weekend, and they've consistently put up big numbers, even topping 30 points in multiple losses. Burrow is in top form and should have no trouble carving up a Cleveland defense that has given up at least 20 points in 5 of their 6 games this year, including multiple 30-plus point blowouts. The Bengals' Achilles heel has been their defense, and although Cleveland's offense has been subpar, they should still be able to put up some points in this rivalry matchup. Deshaun Watson has struggled, but Cincinnati's defensive lapses give him a chance to make some noise on the scoreboard. This game has all the makings of a high-scoring affair, and the over should cash easily, potentially making it one of the safest bets of the week. Total pick, over 41.5 points. Houston Texans versus Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers secondary has been a major concern this season, currently ranked 25th in the NFL in terms of passing yards allowed per game. While they've managed to hold their ground in certain situations, this week they face an entirely different beast, the high-powered Houston Texans offense, led by standout quarterback C.J. Stroud. If the Packers attempt to slow the game's pace, it could backfire, giving the Texans even more opportunities to rack up points. Green Bay's 2-1 record against the spread ATS at home this season, and their 4-2 overall ATS record might suggest that Lambeau Field still offers an advantage. Since 2023, the Packers have gone 7-4 ATS at home, but those numbers fail to address the more pressing concerns about the team, particularly the injury-plagued roster and struggling secondary. Against a team like the Texans, betting on the Packers carries significant risk. C.J. Stroud has quickly established himself as one of the NFL's rising stars, leading a Houston offense that's averaging 23.8 points per game, placing them 14th in the league. The Texans' offense is steadily improving, with their ground game showing promise to complement Stroud's aerial attack. In this matchup, Houston's offense will likely be the deciding factor, putting immense pressure on Green Bay's defense to keep up. Given the Texans' offensive firepower, they're poised to control this game and potentially render the point spread irrelevant. Bettors looking for an edge should strongly consider backing Houston, whether through the plus 2.5 points, moneyline bets, or player props tied to standout Texans performances. Pick Texans plus 2.5 points. This Packers-Texans matchup also offers an enticing opportunity to bet the over on total points. Green Bay has proven they can put up points, with 10 of their last 13 games after a win going over the projected total since 2023, including a 2-0-1 record this season. Meanwhile, Houston has shown they can score on the road, with 2 of their last 3 road games exceeding the posted total. Given the recent high-scoring trends for both teams, this matchup has all the makings of an offensive shootout. Total pick, over 48 points. Miami Dolphins versus Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts have been on a strong run, winning 3 of their last 4 games, while Miami Dolphins have been struggling, dropping 3 of their last 4. Offensively, the Colts have the upper hand, primarily due to their efficient ground game, which could be a major factor against Miami's porous run defense. Even if star running back Jonathan Taylor is sidelined, rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson has proven to be a dual-threat nightmare for opposing defenses with his scrambling ability. Expect Richardson to exploit the Dolphins' weaknesses and help the Colts put up solid offensive numbers. On the other side, Miami's offense has sputtered since quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's concussion in Week 2. Backup quarterbacks have struggled to ignite the passing game, making the Dolphins' offense predictable and easy to defend. With running back Devon Achane also dealing with a concussion, the Dolphins' offensive woes have been magnified. They've failed to score more than 15 points in their last 4 games, becoming increasingly one-dimensional. While the Colts' defense has had trouble against the run, their ability to load the box and challenge Miami's weak passing game should keep the Dolphins in check throughout this matchup. Take Indianapolis minus 3 points. Looking at the total points, the Dolphins have consistently hit the under, going under the total in 6 of their last 7 games. Miami is averaging a meager 8.75 points per game without Tagovailoa, and their offense has struggled across the board. With both the passing and ground game sputtering, it's hard to see Miami breaking that trend in this game. The Colts' defense, while not elite, should be able to limit Miami's offensive production by focusing on stopping the run. The Colts, averaging 23.2 points per game, will lean on their rushing attack to exploit Miami's weak run defense. However, the Dolphins' defense, despite the team's struggles, has been respectable, allowing only 22.6 points per game. Given these factors, it's unlikely the Colts will score enough to push the total over 43.5 points. The history between these teams also supports the under, with 3 of their last 4 meetings going under the total. Total pick, under 43.5 points. Detroit Lions versus Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have struggled mightily against the spread ATS in recent matchups, with the Detroit Lions losing their last 7 ATS, including 3 straight at home in US Bank Stadium. Last season, the Lions not only covered the spread in Minnesota, but they also won outright. Detroit's offense has been a nightmare for Minnesota's defense, scoring 30 or more points in their last 3 meetings. This season, the Lions have continued to dominate ATS, winning 4 of their 5 games and covering in both of their road matchups. Dating back to last season, Detroit is on a 6-game ATS winning streak in games played away from home. Despite the Vikings' perfect record, their defense has been mediocre, ranking only middle of the pack in several key categories. They've given up over 30 points in 2 of their last 3 games, and now they face a red-hot Lions offense that has put up 41-plus points in back-to-back games. All signs point to Detroit continuing their strong form and covering the spread once again. Take Detroit plus 1.5 points. Both the Vikings and Lions rank near the top of the league in offensive categories, including points per game, so this has the makings of a shootout. The Vikings lead the NFL in average points per game with 29.4, and the last 3 matchups between these 2 teams have soared over the point total, including a 54-point game in Minnesota last season. Detroit's defense ranks in the bottom half of the league in key metrics, which opens the door for Minnesota's explosive offense to light up the scoreboard. Meanwhile, Detroit has scored 30 or more points in their last 3 games against the Vikings and 29 or more in 4 of their last 5 overall. Minnesota, in turn, has scored at least 20 points in 5 straight meetings and 7 of their last 8 matchups against the Lions. With both teams' offenses firing on all cylinders and recent games between them trending high-scoring, this looks like another game where points will come in bunches. Total pick, take the over 50 points.